Today I'm going to be doing something new, something I've never really done before. Anyone can submit a challenge idea and I will try and build to those challenge ideas. We will only need to build like a block or two, maybe like a small part to these challenges, so it's not like a full level, but basically there's 3 per video and you guys submit the challenges. Now before I start, if you guys want to follow along, feel free to do that. I'll have a channel in my Discord server that will open on the premiere of this video basically, where you guys can submit your attempts at completing the challenges. And what I'll do is the next video I will show my favorite one of each challenge at the start of the video. So yeah, anyway, let's just start with the first challenge. The first challenge I'm going to be doing is make a designed level with spikes only. Because it's only a block that I'm decorating, I'm not going to be decorating a full level, obviously. But I'm going to be trying to make a really cool, maybe 1 or 2 block designs using just spikes and nothing else. So I think the first thing I want to do is make the ground black. I'm going to stick with this background, I might change it later. So I'm thinking blue and red could be a nice color combo, so that's what I'm going to go for now. I'm going to make color 2 green, and then I'll have color 3 as my black color. So I'm working with red, green, and blue. Oh, I'm also going to make a black zero opacity blending, and that's literally just an invisible colors. Actually, this is a pretty good tip. If you've ever seen these gears and wanted to remove part of them, for example, if you give the object a color that is zero opacity and blending, it will just pretty much remove that part of it. So now the outline and the inner detail is invisible. Obviously, this works for the other side, so if I wanted to make the inside part invisible, then now I've just got the outline. First thing I'm going to do, set out a base. I'm not going to keep these colors. These colors are kind of bad, so I'm gonna make both of these black. I think that'll look really nice. Now I'm gonna try and overlap some spikes on top. Now I'm gonna like slightly reduce them like in size a little bit. I'm also gonna place a normal size spike just to make sure it's all even. Now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna make this one blending. Actually, I'm gonna make the outline invisible, and I'm gonna have the inner part as blending only. Also, now that I think about it, I think these should probably be full size because you lose the outline with it, so they're slightly reduced in size anyway. But yeah, okay, I'm going to put these on B1, and I think I'm going to put these spikes on B2, just so that I can add stuff above the player as well. I'm thinking I want to do something kind of... Oh, normally I would use like rainbow blocks here, and I'd do some really cool pulse shit with rainbow blocks, but I just can't do that in this challenge. So I think what I'm going to go for is I am really bad at using the editor, I don't know if you could tell. Let's put these on a new layer, and let's start placing these about. So I'm going to do like an alternating thing like this. That's what I'm going to try and do with this. So this is like the pattern I'm going to go for. All of the ones that are on grid are going to be red. And all of the ones that are off the grid are going to be green. Okay, so I think we have a pretty cool start, but it needs an outline. It really does need an outline to just make it pop. And this would normally be quite easy to do, obviously. I'd just outline it. But because I'm only allowed to use spikes, it's actually going to be really annoying. Like, it's not hard in concept. It's just irritating. And for the outline, I'm just going to use like solid red again, because red is a nice color. Ooh, actually, what if I make it green where the spikes are green and then red where the spikes are red? That could look really cool. Okay, I want to make sure the outline is even, because that's going to be really awkward to do. One thing I've just realized with this idea for the design, while it will probably look quite cool, I feel like it might be a bit of a bad idea. There's not that many places where it's red. Ooh, just clicked out of the game. But there's going to be other ones that are going to be more annoying to get to. You know what? For now, I'm happy with that. At the moment, I don't think the outline stands out enough. There we go. Okay, I think that looks good. I'm trying to think now. Are there any finishing touches I could add to this? Oh yeah, I remember I said I wanted to add some details, so I'm going to do that now. I'm just going to add some small spikes on the outside. I'm going to reduce the brightness down by like to 50. And I just realized I now need to make the detail 50 again. Okay. I want to do some air deco. But air deco is going to be awkward because obviously with spikes you can't pass through many of them. And even the ones that you can pass through, obviously like these, they're going to be really hard to actually make nice looking air deco with, I think. But we'll give it a shot. I'm going to try making an arrow. And if that doesn't work, then I will probably just not. So the first bit of air deco I want to add is actually a bit on top of the blocks here. I just want to add some blending things here just to make it a bit more interesting visually. Actually, oh, I know what to do. I'm going to make these background color. So the player shouldn't be, like, if this was a level, the player wouldn't be confused and think, oh, I shouldn't jump there, which is a good thing. If you're ever designing a level, you generally want to make sure it's as readable as possible like that. Well, readability, in my opinion, is overdone sometimes. I definitely think this is a situation where it will only be a good thing. So I've got some air deco there. What else can I add to this? Because I can't actually add glow technically, I would have to make my own. You know what, fuck it, I'm gonna give it a go. I'm gonna try making my own glow. This is obviously not gonna be a suitable alternative for actual glow, right? If you want to have like glow without actually using glow, which a very cool method is to have a very low opacity version of the color you want. Actually, now that I look at this a bit more, this might look pretty sick. Yo, what the fuck? Okay, that looks fire. That looks so cool. But that looks so cool. Yo, that was definitely a good call. That was definitely a good call. That looks really cool. I'm just going to add some arrows now. Arrows should be pretty easy to make if I just do this. Grab the BG color. Ooh, let's actually make some glow with these, I think. Who knows, it might end up adding like a really cool texture to it. Okay, so with that, I'm just going to copy paste this a few times, and then you guys will be able to see what I've made. Okay, so that was challenge 1, we've completed it. Now it's time to move on to challenge 2, which will be, we are only allowed to use 2 colors, pure black and pure white. I'm used to working with just black and white, obviously. I don't think that's a very hard one to work with, but considering I'm only allowed to use pure black and pure white, I think this is going to be pretty hard. Okay, so I want to make something simplistic, because I definitely think complexity is not the best idea when we're doing something like this. If you have a really restricted color palette, I generally think it's better to be fairly restricted and simple with what you make. I also think if you're doing something restricted color-wise, you generally should try and do some interesting structuring just to make it stand out a bit more. Okay, I think I finished my basic structures. I'm also going to add like a gear. If you remember from the first one, what I did is I had a color channel. I'm going to make it color 8 again, where it was blending and 0 opacity black. I think I'm going to try and design up this gear a little bit. As I said earlier though, I do think simplicity will be useful, but not right now. I'm just going to check how many objects it is. Only 6, that should be fine. In some levels that might not be the best idea to do, but I think here it'll be okay. And honestly, with those overlapping like that, I think that looks really cool. In fact, I'm going to use a different inner like rotating object this time. I really want to try and be a bit more creative with. So I've got that one, which is fairly standard. Now, I don't know. There's so many cool options for what you can do. What if I go like hexagonal? Ooh, wait, I just had an idea. Now there's like, yeah, now there's like a hexagon inside that. I'm actually going to make it a little bit bigger. I'm going to make it just about... Now let's rotate that 20 like the gear, just so that it... In fact, I'm going to make this rotate in the other direction. Overall general structure of the part, or what I've got, done. That's pretty easy. Now it's time to move on to detailing, which, if you know me, I love making colors. Like, colors are the biggest thing. So this is going to be really hard to make, like, interesting. Because of the challenge being as restrictive as it is, honestly, I don't need to worry about those overlapping parts because you won't be able to see them anyway. So I want to make some ground spikes now, like just to like extend out here a little bit and come through here. And because of my restriction, I want to make the ground spikes interesting. I think normally with ground spikes, I find that simplicity is often a good thing, but I think I can get a bit creative with the shape for now. One thing I've just thought of, I need to come up with a way of differentiating between things that kill you and things that don't. Currently, it's fairly clear. I think when I start implementing more detail into this, it's going to start getting way more complex and way more difficult to tell, like really quickly. One thing I'm really liking about this is that there is literally no downside to overlapping these blocks because I can just overlap something above them. Okay, one thing I want to do, I want to reduce how big this side of it is. I think that feels too much. I'm going to make it like slightly harsher of a rotation. I would use these, but they have a fade and that isn't technically pure black, so I can't. But I can always add something else. So I'm going to try adding these things. I've never really found myself using these. I think I honestly underuse the hell out of them. And I also want them to kind of clip into the blocks a little bit. I don't want them to be fully outside of the blocks because I want this to be like one big structure. One issue I'm just realizing though is that because of how these are, like the nature of them, they're kind of clipping into the ground there and that looks kind of bad. So I'm just going to add some subtle gradient right here, just to make them fade into the ground. I know this technically adds grays, but I think adding something like that is probably okay. Obviously, I'm not going to consult Ollie on it because I'm a lazy shit. We'll see in the premiere if he turns up, if I'm actually breaking the rules here, but now that I've said this, he definitely will say that I am. I'm just going to add some gears into the block designs, I think. And I want to have like kind of a mechanical vibe to these blocks. And one thing that's nice about this is these aren't going to clip with the bottom at all. I'm not sure where I can go with this now. I think I might be getting a bit too ambitious. In fact, no, I'm going to leave this as it is. I think this looks nice. And then I'm just going to add some air decoration onto the top, some really basic air decoration just to fit the vibe. Quick tip, if you ever want to select all of one type of object, just click the custom thing there, pause, select all. One thing to keep in mind is if it's grouped with another object that isn't the same object as it, it will also delete that, but it's pretty useful. Okay, after removing that, I want to add something, but I'm not too sure what. Actually, I like the kind of gear like vibe I've got going where everything is a gear. And I want to add one of these, which is going to rotate -10. Yeah, I'm going to add it there. And then I'm going to add some black glow. Okay, now I'm going to add like a little bit of extra detail. I think these could really add quite a lot there. I think that could look pretty cool. Yeah, I think that looks really nice. I guess it just isn't possible to perfectly rotate to a slope. I guess I have to do that. Alright, sweet. Okay. I'm just going to add my invisible group real quick, which is always group 1. Blue skies, I know you use group 99. What are you on, mate? I do not understand you. Okay, now I'm going to add some air deco, and this is going to be very, very simple. That's why I've left it to last, because I'm literally not going to do like hardly anything. I'm just going to add these. This is a little thing I actually caught from, or I saw FGH doing. I have done a similar variant to this, where I just do that, but I've never done this one, and I think that one looks really nice, so I'm going to do that. Okay, I'm pretty happy with this so far. Let's just remove the grid real quick. You know what? I'm going to say that's done. There's not really much more I would add to this. I could add like a cool background or something, but that wouldn't be pure black or pure white anymore, which is kind of a shame. So I kind of have to stick with just designs. Ooh, actually, before I finish, I just had a really, really cool idea. I can't wait to do this actually. What the hell? New layer. This is going to need a new layer. I'm going to have in the background a slope like this. And notice how I said it's in the background and it's black. Some of you might be thinking, oh, he's just going to change it to a different color. No, this is actually going to stay black. And the reason I'm doing this is because I'm going to add a really cool invert color like effect. I need to like carefully outline everything in that. I'm actually going to make this all of this stuff T3. Oh wait, actually I should just remove this, right? Like there is no need for this glow to be here. And this would fix up the issue I'm having here easily. I can already tell this is going to look so cool. I like how I literally had this idea right before I was about to stop building as well. Right before I was about to call it quits and say it was finished. One thing I will say actually, now that I've got a little bit of time, if you do follow along with this, while it's obviously cool to be inspired by what I make, I would heavily implore you to try and take it in your own direction and come up with your own cool ideas for it. I'm more likely to include and feature the ones that were more original. There is definitely some layering bullshit I could do to make this work. Okay, let's see what it looks like in-game. Okay, and now it's time for the final challenge of today's video. So, this challenge is going to be try to make a level using only the first tab. I'm assuming by this tab he means this one. I'm assuming he means I can use any object in this tab. Okay, I'm going to go with the dark blue color scheme again, but I'm going to use a fairly monochromatic color scheme. I'm just going to use cyan and pink, I think. This is an extremely easy to work with one though, now that I think about it. Oh, wait, no. Oh, I just realized the difficulty of this challenge. I can't use any glow. You see, glow, like for me, if I do something cool with colors, glow is quite an important factor because it can be used to really enhance something. Wait, I have rainbow blocks? Yo, okay, that makes this really easy. Okay, I'm just gonna start with like 2-layered outline. This reminds me of when I built my limbo part. I don't know if you guys have seen that, but in my limbo part, I basically, when I was building, for a lot of the designs, I actually have to do the outlines like this, where I would look like overlap stuff on top of each other. Anyway, I'm happy with this outline we've got. And I'm gonna try and add some form of shading to the bottom of this block. Okay, so that is my shading. I'm gonna make it way lower than that. Now that I think about it, there's gonna be a lot of like difficulties here. I've got the base for my design. Now I need to add some sort of design into it. I'm gonna use these for the design, like the main base behind the design. And I think I'm gonna make the outline of it pink. So max brightness pink. And I just realized something. One of the cool aspects about this series is going to be, you guys are going to be able to see inside my head whilst I create, like what my thought process normally is. Obviously, if you watch my Twitch channel, which you totally should, this will give you like an insight into how I create and what I do, which is kind of cool. You know, it gives like some sort of insight. I normally do work on different layers. I don't normally do what I'm doing here. I don't actually think layering is that important if you're just doing something really quickly like I am right now. Ooh, yeah, these are going to be great. Also, one thing I should probably say that I didn't say at the start that I really should have is feel free to use creator hacks in this. Like, that's 9 objects and that already looks almost like glow. Let's just make this like lower opacity now, like 4. I'm pretty happy with the overall block design. I want to add a gear. That's going to be hard, but I have a method that I've thought, and I think this method will work. I'm fairly optimistic on it. Okay, these shouldn't have that issue. So let's just line these up right. So I've got the outline for my gear, and there we go, we've got a gear. Obviously, I can't rotate this, but we can imagine that it is rotating. Actually, to be honest, I'm gonna remove the shading on the block as well. Also, okay, now that I look at these, why does that actually look fucking cool as hell? Like, that actually looks so nice. I need to add some air deco to this. So I'm going to try and add an arrow. You see, when I go for a more abstract thing like the last style I had, it's not that hard to make this sort of thing. Whereas now that I've got this challenge, I'm going to try and make it look good as a like miniature design part. Got to add that trademark ridiculous glow. And with that, I'm going to say this design is done. Okay, and that was the first episode of my creating challenges videos. I just want to have a weekly upload schedule every Sunday, but obviously I might change what I do in those videos. It's not going to be 100% every single Sunday I'll upload a video. I also want to do a series where I go through my most like recognized levels like ecstasy, RGB, virtual reality, and just like explain how I did everything and what actually goes into them. But anyway, with that, thank you guys for watching. Make sure to submit your attempts at this in my Discord server, which will be linked in the description. And yeah, I'll see you guys in the next video.